Okay, we're at the 1C event in Prague here with Ingmar. But we're gonna go to Stalingrad now. And first of all, why did you pick Stalingrad for Red Orchestra 2?
Basically, because it is the biggest turning point in World War II. But also, it is a battle that basically had everything in it. It had the end of the hot summer in August '42. All the way up into the extreme winter of 1943, February 1943. Also, the city has all kinds of different environments, iconic battles. So many places that were like meat for us to dive into. It was actually, a very easy pick for us.
So, perhaps you would assume that picking just one place would limit your choices in terms of maps and stuff like that, but perhaps that's the opposite is true.
No, I think the opposite is true. It gave us the opportunity to actually dive in deep into what we were doing. We've had an interest in the Eastern Front as from the first game. It's one of the things that actually attracted me as a developer, game developer, to actually start working on. It was unknown territory for me, actually, as a Westerner. And it just grabbed us, and we have massive amounts of research, and it captivated us, and it's something we love to do. And the city as a whole, including the outskirts, including the landscape around it, has so many different types of places. Like the Battle of Stalingrad was a mini world war on its own. It was gruesome, it was hard. You had tank warfare, you had like close quarter combat, you had long range combat, you had like armies dug in, not moving at all. It's like everything was there in all its gruesomeness.
And it lasted such a long time as well, for
4 months. Yeah, it lasted for 4 months, and it was the most horrific event in the whole of the Second World War. Yeah.
So in terms of that, and about the story of Stalingrad, you're also doing a single-player campaign this time around. Could you tell us a little bit about the motivation, why you wanted to create a single-player campaign?
It is basically, it's about storytelling. I think it's something, getting to know the ins and outs of the Battle of Stalingrad. It basically. We really wanted to tell that story as a whole, but from a historic point of view, not an adventure. So that's the main motivation, aside from the fact that we always wanted to do single player as from the beginning. The single player is where you actually get to play the full Battle of Stalingrad, starting from the German invasion and the German assault. You start out as a German squad, and you fight your way into the city, up to the turning point of the Russian counterattack, which was massive. And from that point on, you actually start to play as a Russian squad, driving the Germans back and actually closing them in. So you get the 4 months in separate battles. There's so much going on that we even couldn't do everything that we wanted, but I think we made a very nice selection.
In terms of the gameplay experience, is it very different in single player, or would you say that players are getting a similar kind of experience as they would from Red Orchestra?
Yeah, it's a Red Orchestra experience. So there is no scripting in it. There's no linearity in it. You get a lot of freedom to do whatever you want. What happens if you start a battle in single player is you get information about the historical context, about why you're there, why the battle is there, what it was fought about, and after that historical information, you get a tactical briefing from your commander as what is expected of you in the game level itself. So you get assignments, and you just get a playing field, and you basically on your own at that point. You just have to figure out yourself how you're going to attack these goals.
So it's not a straight sort of map with bots, yes, that you play.
There is AI, of course, because that's what single player is about, but they are moving about. We don't have scripts that are telling this bot like, after a couple of minutes when the player is over there, just move in and start shooting at him every time you replay that level. It's not going to work like that. It's open-ended in that case.
So for the gun nuts, I'm sure there are a lot of Red Orchestra fans who are gun nuts. You're bringing in some new weapons, some prototypes into the game. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah. In our research, we found, as you say, a couple of prototypes that were created in World War II. And we thought they were just too much fun to leave out. We did make sure, though, that they'll be very rare in the game, so you won't encounter them often. You'll have to earn them by getting a hero status. So every now and then in the server, you'll find somebody with that weapon. For instance, we have the MP40/2, and the 2 stands for 2 magazines. So it's an MP40 with 2 magazines attached to it. We also have the SVT-40 fully automatic battle rifle, which is an insane gun. It's a semi-automatic gone full automatic, firing rounds like this big. And if you pull the trigger and you keep it pulled, it just unloads the whole clip into whoever is on the other end of that sticky point. We also have the MKB-42 scoped assault rifle, which is the prototype for the very, very popular SDG-44, which was used later in the war. So we're very excited about those weapons. Yeah.
And you touch a little bit on the hero status and stuff like that. How will the ranks and unlocks work in the game on a whole? And have you expanded that sort of side of the game?
Yeah, it's something that's new to our game, actually. We didn't track stats before, and now we have a persistent stats system, which tracks your progress as you get more experienced in Red Orchestra. It works on multiple levels. So for one, you can get experienced in the class you play. So as a rifleman or an assault class, you get experience points for every kill you make, for every objective you take, for ammunition that you provide to others. All the good stuff that you do, you get added points to it. And with that, you're basically able to unlock additional weapons, like new secondary weapons, new pistols, stuff like that. But you're also able to, for instance, as a German, able to unlock access to Russian weaponry, for instance. So if you like to play German, but the Papasha, like the PPSH, is your favorite weapon, you can work your way towards being an SMG assault guy who actually has enough skill to unlock the Papasha and use it as you spawn, so you don't have to look around for it on the battlefield. Another level that we have stat tracking on is on specific weapons themselves. So if you're really a big fan of the Kar-98, for instance, maybe the scoped version of that, if you practice long enough with that, you get really proficient with it, you get points and you unlock weapon upgrades with that. So for instance, with the Kar-98, it would be like you start out with a magnifying scope of 2-fold or 4-fold, and you get like a 4-fold or a 6-fold. You unlock that. You can unlock bayonets, for instance, for rifles. So instead of clubbing people, you can actually stab them. Assault class with the submachine gun, they can unlock for the Publisher, for instance, they can unlock, instead of stick magazines, which holds like 25 bullets, they can unlock drums which hold 50 or 75 bullets. So not only can you progress within a class, but you can specialize within that class in a specific weapon.
In terms of the gameplay, a lot of change since 2006, mechanics. Yep. What are the major advancements, would you say, in terms of the mechanics?
There's so many of them. Our cover system is something that's really important in our gameplay. It's not mandatory, but it helps you in many ways. But you'll still be able to survive fairly well without it. It's something that we wanted to add to the game because it enriches your experience. But we didn't want it to be a feature that you couldn't do without. One thing that I'm also very fond of is like bullet penetration. It's something that we wanted for a long time. That Red Orchestra has like real physics, mathematical physics for our bullets, and shells, also the tanks. What we added right now with bullet penetration is that depending on the round you're firing, so which weapon you have in your hands, and the stuff that you're shooting at, the bullet actually can penetrate material and come out on the other end and still be lethal. So if you're holding a submachine gun, for instance, you can shoot through thin metal. If a guy is on the other end of that thin metal sheet, you're dead. He's dead. But those bullets, the rifle bullets, they won't penetrate, for instance, a brick wall, like a single brick wall. but rifle bullets do. They have high velocity, they have way more mass, and it results in a whole new type of gameplay, which is very exciting, because cover is no longer cover at all situations. You know, if you're a rifleman or say a light machine gunner and you see somebody behind a window and he's taking cover behind the wall, you can actually attempt to kill him just shooting through the wall where you think that guy is, and it's big fun. I like it a lot. And there's so many features, like the tank warfare. The tanks, they're just so detailed and enriched. We added multiplayer modes to our core multiplayer mode, which was territory. We have countdown, which is a way more tactical way of playing Red Orchestra, where sneak and peek is like the way to go, because you got one life per objective instead of, you know, respawn waves. And we have, which is fun as well, you know, we have a pickup mode in multiplayer where you pick up and play if you're in the mood for killing people, where you have no objectives but just, you know, kill the other team is what your objective is. Kill as many as possible if you can. The twitch to that is that you basically is that you respawn close to the vicinity of where your teammates are. So if they're hiding in a building, you'll spawn in that building as well. So you get these pockets of resistance that are very exciting.